Hey guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. Got some bad news. Figured I would try to make it easier to handle while we're watching puppies. But I'm 99.9% sure that my neighbors shot Gina today. They won't own up to it, but it's not a coincidence that she went quiet once they shot. I was outside with all the dogs, and Cashmere got on to Gina for being her normal crazy self. She took off in the direction of my neighbors. And I went inside. I got the remote. I hit her with the collar. I could hear her over in the distance. Y'all know how she is. Gina's like a wild horse. When she gets scared, she just takes off. You know what I mean? She just runs. It doesn't really make any sense. She's kind of a flighty dog. And so I hit her with the collar again, thinking that she would, she'd come back. It's worked every other time before. And then I heard a gunshot go off. And keep in mind that whenever I hit her with the collar, you could hear her bark. And so I'm walking in the direction of where I heard the gunshot go off. I hit the collar again, nothing. Don't hear anything. So I put all my dogs up. I get in my vehicle. I drive down my road, hitting the collar, nothing. I drive up and down the road, hitting the collar, nothing. So I drive back up the road to my house, and I park in front of my neighbor's property and walk up onto their property, and I ask them if they shot my dog, because I heard the gunshot. And he said, your dog was charging me. Now keep in mind, you guys know Gina. Gina wouldn't charge anything. I don't care. There's no reason in the world that Gina would ever charge anyone. She does not have that in her. Right? Gina is a flighty, scared dog. She's not charging anyone. And he said that he went inside and his wife was outside and she shot at a target. Apparently they're competition shooters. She shot at a target and they said the dog ran off in a different direction. So I said, okay, thank you. Got back in my car, went in the direction they said that she went to, was hitting the collar because I need to hear her. You know what I mean? Like, I would have heard her yelp. Nothing. Not a peep since that gunshot went off. And I'll tell you what, I knew the minute I heard it, I knew in my soul, deep in my soul, I heard it and I knew exactly what they had done. Sorry. Hold on. I told myself I wouldn't do this. I was nice about it. Like I said, I got back in my vehicle. I went and I looked around. I drove down the road. Came back up the road, up the driveway, and they were out by their gate. All three of them. They don't work. None of them work. And I stopped because I thought, well, maybe they had seen her, whatever. So I stopped and I was like, did you guys see her? And they started yelling at me, your dog charged, blah, 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 this and this and that. And I'm like, you don't know that dog. I know you're lying. Gina wouldn't charge anybody. Like, you're lying. You know what I mean? I said, you shot my dog. And they cussed me out, called me fat, told me they had called the cops. The cops were already on the way. So basically, just for going onto their property and politely asking them whether or not they had shot my dog or seen my dog, they called the cops on me, which to me says they have a guilty conscience. To me, they didn't want me on their property anymore. They didn't want me looking for her body. And so they called the cops to scare me off their property. And cops came, said I didn't do anything wrong because I didn't. They don't even have no trespassing signs up. I didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't inappropriate with them. He said that they swear they didn't shoot her, and they'll look out for her. And but I know, man, I'm telling you, I know. It's in my I knew it in my soul. I knew it. And the thing that makes me mad is I've been trying to get these people out here to build a fence, and they've just been so busy. I don't know what it is, but ever since they messed with all this immigration stuff, it's been hard to find people that, you know, like a lot of the construction companies are low on staff, and they're really busy, and so, you know, there's just not enough people, and so it's been very hard for me to get somebody out here. I literally texted the guy today and I said, man, I really need that fence put up ASAP. You know, I said, now my neighbor shot my dog and killed him. You know, and he did call me after that, and he said he would come over tomorrow, make a priority of it. But I personally think Gina's gone. I don't think she's coming back. I mean, I guess, is there a chance of it? Sure. Maybe the collar went dead. I guess it's possible, but I doubt it. I'm not much for believing in coincidence, and I don't think it's a coincidence that out of nowhere they claim my dog charged them, and that they shot at a target to scare her, and that she took off in a direction that I would have seen her. It's like, the thing about it is like the properties next to me, there's cows on them, so there isn't much there. It's just a field. So I would have seen her. You know what I mean? It's just not and then they're claiming she charged. Like, why would you lie? Why would you lie and say that a dog charged you if you weren't looking for an excuse for having done something horrible to her? You know, and then why would you call the cops on a person just looking for their dog? You know what I mean? What kind of person does that? So, I don't know. It sucks because the reality is that there's nothing I can do about it. Here in Texas, they are well within their rights to shoot her. If there's a dog on your property in Texas, you can shoot that dog. That's just the way it is here. Dog doesn't have to do anything wrong. She could have just been on there smelling a rock for all they cared, and they were going to shoot her. And they have every right to do that. That's why I've desperately been trying to get up a fence, but unfortunately I live pretty far out in the country, and it's just been so hard to get anybody to come out here. The one guy that is going to come over, he just said he was super busy, been super busy, and they're just low staffed, and he's the one that did my porches. And another guy that I called, he's a friend of my family's. He said that he's gonna be gone. You know, that like I said, he's a friend of my family. So I kind of texted him and I told him what happened, and I asked him. I said, "Do you know somebody that that does fencing?" And then he was like, "Well, I do fencing." And I was like, "Okay, well, you know, what's up?" And he said that he's working on something now, and then he has to go out of town for a couple days, and they said he would come after that. And then the other guy called me back today and said that he would come out tomorrow. And so it's been so hard to get people out here to be able to fence in this property. And unfortunately all the other dogs listen, but Gina, you know, Gina just doesn't listen. The only other one that was like that wouldn't listen was Liberty, and she's not here anymore. And so anyway, I've done my crying, and you know, there's nothing I can do about it. Gina had a very flighty temperament like that. You know what I mean? She was a very a very, she just had a temperament that made it, you know, you couldn't rationalize with her. You know what I mean? You couldn't reason with her. As soon as she got afraid, she's like a horse, you know, she gets spooked and she just run. You know what I mean? You couldn't rationalize with her. That's why I had that e-collar, to try to break her out of that frame of mind, because it was the only thing that ever worked. But they got to her before I did, you know. They just shot her. And I think they don't like me. And so there it is. She's gone. If miraculously she shows up somehow, maybe she, you know, slipped beyond the radius of that collar, then I'll let y'all know. But the odds of that happening are slim to none. You know, the reality is that it's not a coincidence that I was able to connect with her right before that gunshot went off. And I don't see how it is that they're going to lie and say that the dog was charging them when she clearly wasn't. I mean, you guys know her. Everybody that watches this channel knows Gina would never charge anyone. It's not in her, like, at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, they couldn't have shot a sweeter dog. Let's just say that. Gina was a very sweet girl. She might have been scared. She might have been spooky. She might not have had, but it was never, as you guys know, the only reason that I kept her here and was going to breed her was because she didn't have fear aggression. You know, even though she would get scared, she would always just shut down. She never actually wanted to actually attack anybody. And, but the house is going to be kind of quiet. And it's a sad day here because of some heartless rednecks that just like to shoot too much. There's no reason to shoot a dog that doesn't pose any harm to you, but I guess they figured it was good target practice. Because I don't believe for a second that they didn't do it. I just don't. The collar I have has really good radius on it. And I paid more for it. Gina's never taken off in a way that and not come home, ever. Never. She's never done that. You know, she's always come back. So hopefully I'll finally get somebody out here to do the fence, because the reality is the money's not the issue. I've got the money. It's just getting somebody out here to actually do it. I'm so far from everything. I'm literally out in the middle of nowhere. You know, I'm not even the city that I'm technically zoned for, you know what I mean, which is Bertram. I'm still 20 minutes away. Well, really, pardon me, more like 30 minutes away. And there's just so much work out there. There's so few people to do the jobs that there's so much work that they don't need to come out here. You know what I mean? They don't need to do this job way out here in the middle of nowhere. You know? I can't wait to move. I am going to be moving to Tennessee as soon as possible. Because I just can't take this, man. These people have no decency. Anyway. I hope you guys are having a good day. So I'm sure not. I feel foolish going out there even looking for her. They're probably sitting there laughing every time they hear me call her name. I can't even describe to you the horrible feeling of having people like that. You know, sat there, called the cops on me just for coming on their property looking for my dog. It's ridiculous. Cops came. They didn't do anything because I didn't break any laws. I didn't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? Who does that, man? Who does that? People with a guilty conscience, that's who. People can be so horrible. Anyway. I'll talk at y'all later.